First, you don't succeed, try again. Back in March of this year, I took the CFP examination and ended up failing it. Took it again on September 24th, and I got a passing score, and now I am a certified financial planner professional. The CFP designation is pretty well known within the industry. A lot of advisors and planners have that. It's decently well known within the general public, and that's why I wanted to do this video today. I wanted to talk about what the CFP designation is, why did I go through the process of getting it, and what was the actual process. I think it's important for the general public to know more about this designation, why advisors and planners go through the trouble of getting it. And I also think it's important for current advisors who are thinking about getting the designation, or those who are currently going through the program, to understand a little bit more about what that process looks like. And also, if you're someone who's thinking about getting into the industry, I hope this sheds a little bit more light on why a lot of us are getting this designation. So what is the CFP designation? It stands for Certified Financial Planner. And again, it's a very well-known designation within the industry for planners and advisors. The CFP designation covers things like retirement planning, investment planning, taxes, estate planning, insurance, among many other different areas. And it helps you figure out how to do a financial plan for your clients. The coursework covers a lot of how you bring on a prospect, how you define your client-planner relationship, what the areas that you're going to cover and focus on, and how do you actually turn them into a client. That processing also includes looking at where they currently stand financially and where they want to go, right? Their goals, and how do you bridge that gap in between? How do you come up with the plan? One of the most important parts about the designation is the fiduciary standard that you are held to as a CFP professional. A fiduciary standard means that you put your client's needs above all else, above your own compensation, above your firm. Their needs have to be met first before anything else is taken care of. And you may be thinking, Sid, that seems like it should be something that should be industry-wide, and I would agree with you. But the unfortunate reality is there's a lot of planners and advisors out there who don't hold themselves to a fiduciary standard. They won't have their client's best interest at heart. That's a topic for another video, but the important thing is those with the CFP designation are required to be a fiduciary and hold those high standards. So why did I get the CFP designation? I'm a young advisor in the industry. I'm 33 years old. I'm going to be 34 soon, and I'm trying to build my book of business. I've figured out who I want to work with, right? My target prospect and target client. And the issue is I'm a lot younger than most of those people. So the CFP designation helps add some legitimacy to who I am as a young advisor starting out in the business and trying to build my book of business. It's something that people can look at and say, this person has done the coursework. They're holding themselves to a higher standard, and they have the organization behind them requiring them to go through the continuing ed and to do all these things. And again, I think it makes me more attractive to potential prospects and potential clients. Now, this is not to say that having the 3 letters at the end of my name means I'm the greatest planner in the world, I'm the greatest advisor, I'm the smartest. And conversely, not having those 3 letters doesn't mean that someone isn't qualified to work with you and help you do financial planning and help you achieve your financial goals and freedom. Again, it's just another designation. There is coursework involved, so it's something that people can look to. For potential clients out there, people that are looking for an advisor, people that are thinking about taking control of their financial future, the website letsmakeaplan.org is a great place to look for CFP professionals in your area. You can put your zip code or your local, your address and find a CFP designated professional in your area. You can also search for CFP professionals if you're working with someone and you want to make sure that their designation is up to date, that they have everything taken care of. You can go and search there as well. Now, fun fact, if you search my last name, which is Misra, I am the only Misra that has an active CFP designation in the country. Number 1. So what's the process to get the CFP designation. There's a lot of coursework involved. They break those topics up that I mentioned before: retirement planning, investing, taxes, estate planning. They break those things up into modules. So you have about 6 modules where you have to study the material, take quizzes, and then take exams after each module to move on to the next one. The 7th module is they're going to give you a case study, a made-up family that has, a husband and wife, let's say 3 kids, and they give you the income and all the expenditures that they have. They give you the assets and liabilities, and then they tell you to answer questions. So those questions could be, figure out the mortgage that these people would be paying if they chose a 15-year mortgage versus a 30-year mortgage. If you're doing college planning for their kids, right? Let's say little Johnny is going to school in 8 years. What is the cost of college now? Well, what will be the cost of college in 8 years with inflation? How do you figure out how much this person or the family needs to save to pay for little Johnny's college and all 4 years of that schooling? So those are the kind of questions that you would be asked in that last module, which is like a financial planning module. After that's completed, you can take the main test, which is the infamous, very, very difficult test to take. It is 170 questions split up into 2 parts that are 3 hours apiece, and you have a 40-minute break in between. Let me tell you something, it is exhausting. It is a brutal test. It covers a lot of information. A lot of people say that the test is a mile wide, but only an inch deep. So to give you an idea of how much information is covered, but if you understand a lot of the basic principles and you understand the foundational pieces, you can actually do well and end up passing the exam, which is what I did. The CFP board is also going to have ethics requirements that you'd have to complete beforehand. You sign some waivers and things. There's an education requirement. I believe the requirement is to have a bachelor's degree. And then there's also a work requirement, having a certain amount of hours worked within the industry. You have to satisfy all of those things before you can get the 3 letters at the end of your name. If you have more questions, I'd recommend going to cfp.net to figure out what the requirements are, how many hours, all of those things. You can create a profile, and there'll be a progress tracker there to tell you, what you have left and what you've completed as well. So I definitely recommend, if you're an advisor out there, check that out and create a profile so you can see what your progress looks like. So how did I pass the second time when I failed the first time? Long story short, I did not study enough the first time I did it. I took a review class with a gentleman named Brett Danko. He's pretty well known within the industry for doing these classes. And they had a live review close by in Newark, New Jersey at a hotel. So I went to that review not doing enough beforehand, not studying enough of the material, not knowing enough going in, because, I thought that I could go in there and just pick up everything I needed to in the review. That was so far from the truth, because at the end of the day, when you go into that review, you're literally drinking out of a fire hose. There's so much information going in that if you haven't prepared beforehand, you're just lost. So I went into the exam, I didn't prepare, and I didn't pass, right? It's not something that you can just kind of wing. You have to put the work in. So after I failed, I took some time off, a few weeks off, regrouped a little bit, and reached out to a friend of mine. His name is Joe Nissim. I'm going to link him, his profile, his LinkedIn profile, in the comments below. I would recommend reaching out to him if you're studying for the CFP. But Joe does tutoring for the CFP, does tutoring for the CFA Level 1, and all the series exams, the Series 7, 6, 66, all of that stuff. And so I worked with Joe. We met once a week via Zoom. He's based out of LA, and we would record a session, or we would do a session. He would record it and upload it to a Google Drive for me to refer to later if I had questions. I had homework and things that I had to do every day, and things that I had to prepare for our review classes once a week. And basically with Joe, I went in, like I said before, and I worked on the foundational pieces, all the things that I needed to know that would help me pass the exam. Time value of money, understanding all the tax, the tax rules, the general rules that you would have to go through in the exam. Going through that allowed me to better pick up the material, because again, it's a lot of material and you have to have that basis to actually retain anything. So working with Joe really helped me. We've done some practice tests and things with him. He's also was really good at explaining, this is what you're going to expect on the test. We did a run through of the day, where on a random Sunday, I woke up at 6:45 and I came to my office here, and I sat down at 8 o'clock. I put my phone away like I was taking the actual exam, and I did a practice exam. So I did the run throughs, and those were things that I didn't do before. So again, you just have to prepare. You have to do the material and know the material, take a bunch of practice exams, and I would simulate your exam day, right? All the stress that goes into it, sitting for, 6+ hours to do this exam. Get yourself used to doing that. For people in the financial services industry, financial advisors, whatever it is, I would reach out to Joe. Again, his information is in the comments below. If you're bringing on new hires, if you have trainees that have to be licensed, again, he does all the series exams. It may make sense to spend a little bit of money now to make sure that they have the review down, they know what they're doing before they go sit for these exams. Because again, like if they fail a Series 7 or Series 66, they have to wait 30 days or so to take it again. So you spend a little bit of money now getting a review in, maybe once or twice. Have your new hires go take the exams and pass on the first try. He's done that with a few groups so far, and he's seen a lot of success. So I definitely recommend reaching out to him. And this was a long process. I took my time. I think the average time for people is around 2 years to do the modules and do the work required. I do all of that stuff and study for the exam. I did a lot of the modules between 2015 and 2017 at my old job. In 2017, I left and started working with my dad, and I just kind of took 2017 and 2018 off and didn't do anything. 2019, I got back into it. So my suggestion is, if you're doing it, just do it all in one go. Keep that mindset of studying and keep the knowledge, right? Because I think it's easier if you stick with it. Whereas if you study and then take a break and then come back like a year later, you've lost all that information. So being able to study continuously and just keeping the material fresh in your mind is going to help you. So again, we've talked a lot in this video. I apologize for the time, but I think it's a lot of stuff to cover, and it's important information. I talked about what the CFP designation is. I talked about why it's important and why I got it, and also talked about the process. And again, I hope this helps shed some more light on this designation. I think financial planning is really important. Having that plan, looking at all these different areas and making sure that you've covered all of your bases before you go to a client and give a recommendation or tell them what they should be doing. That is what's going to really help them, the actual planning part. So let me know if you're a financial advisor, you're someone in the industry that's thinking about doing this. I'm more than happy to help you out. I've been helped out by a lot of people, given a lot of great advice, and I feel like paying it forward is important. So reach out to me. Let me know if you have questions on that. I'm more than happy if you're a financial professional looking to do the CFP, thinking about it. If you're doing it, you want to just talk and maybe unload and just vent a little bit, I'm more than happy to help. I think it's important for the industry that we talk more, and I think it's important to lift the industry up, because what we're doing is good work. It's noble work. It's important, and more people need to know about this, and more people should go through this process. Thanks a lot.